one of the hardest things of being a thought leader is work. I'm talking about the work that goes below the surface. If you were to consider being a thought leader as an iceberg, we only really see the above the surface, the tip of the iceberg, literally. We don't see the 90% that takes place below water. The tip of the iceberg is the zone, the flow that you are in at any one stage as a thought leader. That's guesting on podcasts. That's when people see your video pop up on their LinkedIn feed, people talking about you, retweeting you, referring to you. That's the tip of the iceberg. And it looks effortless. We see this guy talking about that thing, keeps coming up on my social media feed. But what we don't see is the 90% below the surface. And this is really important because the mistake thought leaders make is that they go at it focusing on the tip of the iceberg. They focus on, how do I become a better thought leader by posting more, by doing more videos? And what typically they do is they will create videos and they'll create a batch of videos and then they'll run out of steam. They'll get 6 videos out on LinkedIn, get some great feedback. But then, they're on video 7. Or they do podcasts and they do 6 off the bat, feel great. But then the 7th one, now they're left with an inbox of podcasts to deal with. They want to snippet these up. They've got to find a social media person, etc., etc. So we have to understand that to be a successful thought leader, it's not about focusing on the tip of the iceberg, but the unsexy stuff, the work that goes below the surface. And that's why I want to talk to you about workflow. In short, it really is less work, more flow. And it's really important to understand the correlation between the two, because if you want to increase the flow, you have to work less. Let me explain. The flow, to use Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, the psychologist's definition, this is the zone that you're in. You could be a tennis player, and you can see a tennis player in the zone. They're almost not thinking. You could be driving a car and you're in the zone. You're not thinking logically about driving, but somehow you got from A to B without an accident. That's flow. That's the zone. And it happens in podcasting as well. I get it when I talk to guests or I guest on other people's podcasts and I'm just in the zone. I'm just there in that moment, not worrying about anything else, just connecting with that person. I think that is the most elevated human touch that we could possibly have. And in a world dominated by AI, machine learning, and remote work, to have the ability to enter that zone and stay in that zone is extremely valuable and what makes you a thought leader. Now, to get there, we have to standardize the work. It's the unexciting stuff. So it tends to be the stuff that people don't focus on because they don't want to do it, like outreach campaigns or the negotiation with a podcast host, the back and forth on calendar bookings. That's why when I set up a podcast guesting business, the first thing I wanted to address was the process, because I knew that was the biggest pain point that everybody had. It wasn't the storytelling. It wasn't, am I interesting? That wasn't the problem, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a journey that they've been on. And check out my episode on agile storytelling if you want to know how to refine and improve your story by getting on podcast. The key here is that if you want to be successful and become a thought leader, focus on the stuff you're really good at, and that is staying in the zone, and delegate the rest. So that's why my team focuses not on being the cool creatives, not on being those sort of hip skateboarding dudes that are going to really sex up your story. Rather, what they will be is your team that's got your back. They will look after the process. They will negotiate with the host. They will manage all of the bookings. It's, in a way, it's like being a wedding planner, which means that, the best wedding planners are not seen. On the wedding day, you don't want to see the wedding planner. If you see the wedding planner on your wedding day, there's trouble. And the wedding planner isn't there standing next to the bride and groom telling them what to do. They know what to do. They've done it before. Maybe they haven't done it before, but they've seen it before. So a good wedding planner lurks in the background. Just make sure everything's going well, just guiding everybody and just making sure the show continues. And that's really what you need behind you. And whether you work with a team like mine or you decide to go on your own, you've got to build a team around you because it doesn't look obvious. You see people like Gary Vee, who's everywhere. He's got a team of people working on his social media. And he's not sitting there thinking, okay, how do I edit this 90-second video? How do I put subtitles on it? He just turns up, somebody points the camera in his face and boom, he goes. That's it. Next, to the next one. We're moving to this part of town, different venue, different video, different message. Go. And that's what you want with podcast guesting. So workflow really is about helping you do less work such that you naturally flow, because this is what you can do and what you're good at. And you become a thought leader through the consistency of staying in that sweet spot, because everybody can do podcast guesting. Everybody can do 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes, but that's where they drop off, where it becomes work. And for you to make this a long-term career, and it needs long-term to build a brand and to win people's attention, earn it and build a following and grow that newsletter, you got to have a system in place.